What is goody, everybody? So in this video, this is gonna be basically another like a little fun scouting report that I'm gonna do. And this is like my third one, and this is Trayvion Williams. Now Trayvion Williams, he's another big man that like let's just say worst case scenario, like Yannick Nzosa gets drafted like way earlier than expected. I could definitely like he's definitely like one of the good like emergency backups. Let's just say like the players who I want to be a Clipper gets gets drafted already, which is I would doubt that happens because all the other players that I would want is like way lower, but they're like the hidden gems. But let's just say pretend worst case scenario, all that happens. Trayvion Williams could be a pretty good option. Now, I definitely owe this to my man Cliff Bang for this because he filled me in on the information about Trayvion Williams, like, through personal socials and stuff. But so basically, I just dived into the highlights and it is pretty good in my opinion. Like, he definitely could contribute for the Clippers, like to a decent amount of extent. Now, would I take him over Yannick Nzosa or Dominic Barlow? Probably not. But he could be a pretty solid option. So basically, from what I've seen from this guy, he's a very strong bruiser. He's definitely really good inside the paint. He's a little bit of a traditional big, but at the same time, though, he has promised to be a really skilled big because he's not just all strength, he actually shows a lot of skills. And then with all these films that I just digged in, um, let's just let let the film do the talking. Now, first play, there's just him just shooting threes. Now, believe it or not, his 3 point shooting is like not like the best of the best, like, but it's like decently promising. It's like 35% at his best, but he did have a season that he had 0% from the three, just because mainly he's more like a big, strong bruiser post player. So obviously he wouldn't shoot the three as much, but he has the promise to kind of make his 3 point shooting at least respectable. And I believe like if he's willing to have the work ethics, I'm sure his 3 point shooting would definitely be like doesn't have to be no Steph Curry, Karl Towns, JJ Redick, Klay Thompson, but it could be like a decently respectable three that shouldn't really leave this man open, or when you leave the man open he's gonna strap it, kind of like how a Boogie Cousins or a like a Jonas Valanciunas or a Miles Turner could be like that. So his 3 point shooting is pretty promising. Now next clip. So this is him. This is his big strength, being a really strong bruiser. So just look at that be crafty post move. Ooh, bam, bam, just boom. See, like that is not just all strength, bro. Like it, it takes skill to do these, bro. That footwork is nice. Like bam, and then over here, boom, boom, boom. Is crafty laying. And the thing is, he's gonna definitely be projected really low, like a really late second round, or some say he could be probably undrafted, just because like he's a very old prospect. He's like born in 2000, so he'd be like 22 by the time when he gets drafted. So that's actually insanely old, but he could be a pretty solid player for like any teams that needs a big. For example, a team like Clippers, he could be a pretty good option for the Clippers. Um, or maybe guys like the Celtics, or I don't know, any team that would want a big man, or maybe the Spurs, because the Spurs are kind of good at developing players like Trayvion Williams, like pretty solid player. But anyways, next clip. Now this is him become a big bruiser again. Bam, 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 like ooh. There's a second clip. All the way behind from the 3-point line, bro. This guy was alright. Let me just dig it in. Let's just bam from the perimeter. Just did jab step. Ooh, just drove all the way in, bro. Like guys like that, they don't just grow from your garden, bro. Like it actually takes something special. Like pretty solid option. Like especially like for a team like the Clippers. Like Zubac, he's good, but I don't remember Zubac just doing things like Trayvion Williams would typically do. Or Hartenstein, he's pretty athletic and pretty promising, but again, Trayvion Williams is the ultimate bruiser. Like he'd be really, really tough to garner paint. And then more of these clips, you're gonna be way more impressed because it shows his all around skills and not just him being a really strong bruiser. Now next clip. Alright. Just whoa, did you just see that? Did you just see that? A 6'10" big man. Ain't no way he just did that. He just did that pass like nothing, bro. Just try to imagine this. Dude just did all, like this. Like, look, that is something. That is something. Like, he's definitely, like, in my opinion, if the team just give him a chance, give him minutes, I definitely see these guys being, if not an all-star, a really, really great role player. Like how an Andre Drummond would be. Or heck, this guy could possibly make an all-star just because how skilled he is. Because dude is a hardcore bruiser. And he can dime. I mean, throw legit dimes. He's like a point center. A point center. Now there. Next one. Let's check this out. What did I just see? If I was just casually watching a game, I would think, oh yeah, he's gonna post up, right? This dude was all the way over here. Slow-mo. Dude just threw an overhead pass. What is that, bro? What is that? Oh my goodness. Oh jeez. Bam, just pass it to an open shooter. Boy, this would definitely benefit the Clippers tremendously. Tremendously. Especially if your center is doing that, bro. Hey, let's just say Williams in the post, right? And then let's just say Reggie or Kennard or Kawhi or PG or Norman Powell or any of our guys, bro. And Trayvion Williams is getting inside the post, let's just say dominating the person who's guarding him. Trayvion Williams just throws an overhead pass to one of our guys. We can easily get so many like knockdown threes easily. Now our 3-point percentage would improve a lot because boy, we have a lot of shooters and guys like Trayvion Williams. When you put a Trayvion Williams with guys with a lot of shooters and scorers, match made in heaven. Match made in heaven. Simple as that. Now next, more clips. There's more of his passing. Pocket pass like that, bro. And let's just don't forget. Wait, hold up. This is when, like it's crowded too. It's not like an easy open lane pass. Like over here, just this guy could have easily got the steal, but Trayvion IQ is just very, very nice. Just bullet pass to him. Strap that. Ooh. Imagine this being Rocco, Kawhi, or PG, or any 3-point shooters. Man, it'd be nothing but splash. And he'd fit a lot with the Tyronn Lue system because Tyronn Lue's system is so skilled oriented. Like especially when we would go small pretty often. But with Trayvion Williams, let's just say he gets the minutes, boy, a lot of playmaking is going to happen, a lot of ball movement. You know, the more ball movement, the more harder for it to stop. Just whew, he just passed it like nothing. Like that was just insane. All right, more clips. Let's see if it's more. Oh, yeah, it is just him. And look at him. He just caught out a play too. So one of the best weapons to have in basketball is just IQ. Nothing could really beat high IQ to like a certain extent. Like, dude just caught out a play as a center. That is just, that is not, like I said, it's not made in a garden, bro. It's like, yeah, it's something special. Like, bam, boom, a three. And then this is like his last play. Like, it shows like some of his rim protection. Like, that's actually not his strength, but he's shown his ability that he's a competent rim protector. This is just more of his passing, but yeah, like, so basically, I'm after all these films that I show you on what he can bring for the Clippers is like one big thing he can bring for the Clippers is he is anything but clumsy. Like he is insanely strong. He's like brute strong. Like he dominate under the post. Unlike our bigs right now, like they're good, but they have moments when they have like a weak hand. So like the ball could get easily taken off his hand. But with a guy like Trayvion Williams, he's very skilled and he's a very great bruiser. Like it's hard to knock the ball off his hands because he crushes you inside the paint. And then another huge thing um, that'll be really good for Trayvion Williams is, for the Clippers, what Trayvion Williams have is he's a great playmaker for his size. Plus, he has IQ. Like all these passes I showed you, bro. That's like what the point guard is supposed to do. But this guy as a center, he's throwing pocket pass, overhead pass. Like that's just something else. Like the only player that I know that can do such things is like a Nikola Jokic. That is it. But now let's just get to his weakness. His little weakness, like from what I've kind of sensed, like obviously, like he would be more on the turnover prone side because he makes all these nice crafty passes. But it's just normal if you make these crafty passes, like you're bound to be like fairly turnover prone. Also, like being being very strong comes with a decently big price. Like for his size, he does pretty solid, but he can get killed in a pick and roll to a certain extent. Let's just say someone like a Kyrie Irving or Chris Paul switch on him. Like Trayvion Williams, like I don't see him as a type of guy who could definitely switch on like little guards, but he'd benefit very good on the offense and in defensive side. He could be decently solid at the rim, like protection area. Like it's not like great, but it's pretty solid. But he'd be the guy who brings that juice on the offense. And I'm gonna just go back to his strength. His strength is his 3-point shooting is pretty promising. Like it is like kind of growing that he's pretty respectable at the three, like 35% at three, which is for a big man, it's pretty solid. Pretty solid. Um, Now going back to his weakness, his rebounding could use some of the work. Like I don't think he even averaged like 10 rebounds a game. We just should try to get that up. And the Clippers are pretty like deficient in terms of rebounding, so like he may not help as much on that, but at the same time he brings in that offensive juice that helps the Clippers through this scoring drought, and he brings in the ball movement, so you get a lot of benefits from him too. And another weakness is he is a very older prospect. Like although he's a pretty great player, but I mean, the younger the player, the higher upside you have. And Trayvion Williams, despite him being pretty old, I believe he brings in a lot of the upsides, and I could definitely see him being, if not an all-star, a really great glue player type of guy that you would love to have him starting on the center on a championship team, because he is definitely the type of guy who could get the job done. And then another thing he could work on is definitely his free throws. Like, his highest free throw percentage was like 59%, which is that's actually pretty poor, and definitely gotta work that on, especially in the modern day NBA when you gotta know how to shoot. Like, this is not like 2000 or 1995 or 1982. Like, you actually have to shoot the ball pretty well. So he could definitely work on that. And his worst 3-point shooting out of all his 4 senior years was like, I think May the second year, like he was like 47%, which is that's actually pretty bad. But I'm gonna add some good news with him again. Like, his strength is he showed like what's crazy is when he came into the like Purdue program, Purdue college, he was like 325 pounds, which is that is beyond overweight. That's like Zion type of weight. But now he's like only like 255, 275. Like, it depends. So he's still a pretty big, strong bruiser, but now he's like basketball material weight and not, like a I don't know how to describe overweight with people, but like it's not like so he's not like, a buffet eating Thai person weight. He's like, you know, like big. He's just, a big, strong bruiser, and that's a pretty good dedication. Like, you lose 50 pounds, like that's one thing that shows his hard work. So pretty much, like, we could definitely tell that he has the work ethic towards his side, and work ethic is definitely key. And let's dig into the player comparison for my man Trayvion Williams. Now, Trayvion Williams' comparison for me would be kind of like a DeMarcus Cousins that cannot really shoot the ball as well, but he can pass a lot better, because Trayvion Williams and DeMarcus Cousins are actually decently alike. Their game style is pretty alike, because both are a big, big, strong bruiser. Both are pretty skilled. Both can pass the ball pretty well. Both are like, they could get kind of killed in the pick and roll, but they both have their dominant top upsides. And yeah, that's one good comparison that I would give. And another comparison I would throw in for Trayvion Williams would be kind of like an Andre Drummond. That is like, um, less of the reboundings, but Andre Drummond, because he's pretty strong. He can pass the ball pretty good. Defense may not be like the most ideal, but he could get the job done. So those are my two comparisons for Trayvion Williams. Now, like I said, I know I said it earlier, like, would he be like my main target to pick? Only when I'll say only when there's like an emergency need, but I mean, let's just say if all of the guys that I would really want has gone, like, let's just say a Yannick Nazoza, if he's gone, Trayvion Williams could be definitely another option. But of course, the main focus for Clipper Nation over here, definitely taking Nick Nazoza over anybody else. Well, at least with our second rounder, but Trayvion Williams, he's very realistic to get to, because, like, again, if you look at the mock drafts, he's projected like very, very, very low. But if Trayvion Williams declared for the draft, like I say, back in 2005, he'd definitely be like probably like a really like a top lottery pick, to be honest, because I mean like that's how the league was back then. If you're a big, dominant big, you're definitely gonna get drafted pretty high. But of course, in this modern era, you have to shoot the ball. And Trayvion Williams, He's shown laps that he can shoot the ball, but it's not as consistent. But I mean, I can see this guy become a pretty good, solid role player, if not an all-star, like I said. So I could go on and on, but just let me know what you think about this particular prospect. Do you think he's going to be a good player? Do you think he's going to be a bust? Just let me know in the comment section. And I'll definitely discuss with y'all in the conversation if I could. And as y'all know, have a great night or have a great day if you're watching it. Peace.